What if a simple 14-page document could quietly put hundreds of dollars directly into your bank account with no application, no long wait, and no red tape? It sounds like one of those too good to be true rumors that bounce around online, but this one is real and sitting in Congress right now. The American Worker Rebate Act is short, but packed with details that could mean an extra $600 or more for millions of working households. If you think you already know how these things work, there is one rule buried on page 7 that flips everything. Stick around because by the time we walk through this together, you will know exactly where you stand, how much you might get, and why this program could be one of the simplest cash rebates ever launched. If you are someone living paycheck to paycheck or just trying to stretch a fixed income, this matters. It is not a massive lottery win, but for many Americans, $600 can fill the fridge, cover a car repair, or pay off that utility bill that has been hovering for months. Maybe you are on Social Security. Maybe you are working part-time or running your own small business. If your income sits in the middle or lower brackets, this rebate is aimed directly at you. The way they wrote it, it could cover millions of people who often get overlooked. So yes, this is for regular folks, not the top earners and not big corporations. And here is the real kicker. Unlike earlier stimulus payments that were capped, this one has room to grow. $600 per adult and per child is just the baseline. If tariff revenues bring in more than expected, your check could grow larger. Think about that. The more money the government collects from tariffs on imports, the more you could get in return. A direct pipeline from federal revenue to your pocket. No complicated forms, no new tax filings, no special eligibility hoops. That's a big shift, and by the time we hit that twist on page 7, you'll see why even people who did not file taxes last year are still covered. It's one of the most inclusive setups we've seen. So if you want updates that stay focused on the facts and help you navigate new changes without the noise, make sure you're paying attention until the end. This one could hit your account sooner than you think, and missing a step could delay or shrink your payment. Let's get into it. The American Worker Rebate Act is a 14-page bill designed to recycle tariff revenue back to U.S. households. That's the core idea. Rather than letting money from import fees vanish into the broader federal budget, lawmakers want to return a portion of it to working Americans. On page 1, that goal is spelled out clearly. The government intends to redistribute tariff revenue collected after January 20th, 2025. That date matters. It lines up with the implementation of a new wave of tariffs, especially on electronics and other imported goods. Turn to page 2 and you hit the money numbers. The rebate starts at $600 per adult and $600 per qualifying child. But here's where it gets interesting. That number can grow. The act includes a clause allowing the rebate to rise if tariffs generate more than expected. So it's not a fixed payout. It's flexible. Your rebate grows as the revenue grows. In a year with strong tariff enforcement or high import volume, the check could rise to $700, $800 or more. The next section tightens the eligibility window. Only tariffs collected after January 20th, 2025 count toward funding the rebate. That gives a clean start date and avoids confusion with past tariffs. The Treasury Department is also allowed to use projections to estimate revenue quickly, meaning they don't have to wait months to tally up exact numbers. That helps speed up delivery. Then you get the income phase out on page 4. If you earn over $75,000 as a single filer or $150,000 as a married couple, your rebate starts to shrink. It phases out at 5 cents per extra dollar over the limit. So someone earning $95,000 would likely see their rebate erased. The purpose is to target relief toward middle income and lower income households, the people who feel price changes most directly. Also on page 4, you find the ineligibility list. Non-resident aliens, dependents claimed by someone else, estates and trusts are all excluded. This is similar to how earlier stimulus payments were handled. It helps prevent duplicate payments and ensures the money stays within households that need it. Page 5 lays out the mechanics. Treasury will use your 2024 tax return to determine your eligibility and payment amount. That means they'll work from last year's information. Why? Because it's already processed. It avoids waiting until people file their 2025 taxes. It also means payments can start going out early in the year. Your direct deposit details from any recent federal payment, including Social Security, VA benefits, or past tax refunds, will be used. That should speed things up. Now, here is that page 7 twist. What if you didn't file a return in 2024? Maybe you are a retiree or have very low income. You're not left out. The IRS is allowed to use your 2023 return. And if that's not available, they can use your SSA 1099 form from Social Security. That's the major difference. Back in 2020, many seniors nearly missed their stimulus checks because they didn't file. This time, Congress included a direct data sharing rule between the SSA and Treasury to avoid that mistake. Page 8 requires Treasury to send you a written notice within 15 days of payment. It's a simple statement showing where and when your rebate was sent. It also confirms that everyone listed on your return must have a valid Social Security number, with the exception of adopted children who can use a temporary ID. Page 9 adds one more note. If either spouse served in the military during the tax year, the household qualifies even if only one has a Social Security number. That's a fix from the confusion that affected military families during past relief efforts. Pages 10 through 12 handle administrative rules. The IRS is allowed to correct small filing mistakes like child counts automatically. U.S. territories like Puerto Rico and Guam receive a lump sum from Treasury and distribute payments through their local agencies. That ensures parity without requiring residents to file federal returns. This matters because many residents of territories do not file U.S. tax forms, but they still pay into the system in other ways. Page 13 is a public favorite. It shields the rebate from garnishment. That means the money cannot be taken to cover back taxes, federal debts, or overdue child support. Congress chose to protect this money so it could serve its intended purpose, covering basic needs. Page 14 rounds things off by giving Treasury authority to adapt the system if gaps or problems arise. That helps plug leaks without needing a whole new law each time something small changes. So, how much money are we talking? A family of 4, 2 adults and 2 kids, gets $2,400 at the base level. If the rebate amount rises to $800, that same family could receive $3,200. Enough to pay rent, catch up on credit cards, or buy school supplies. Even single adults with low to moderate income stand to get a full $600, with no extra steps required. Let's break down a few sample cases. Emma and Jordan, married with 2 kids and a combined income of $85,000, qualify for the full rebate. Their check totals $2,400. If tariffs surge, they could see more. On the other hand, Alex, a single filer earning $200,000, receives nothing. The phase-out formula wipes out his eligibility. That's by design. The rebate isn't meant for high earners. If you are self-employed and report your income on a Schedule C, you still qualify if your net earnings fall below the income limit.